the exclusive footage that you presented on your show just yesterday. So you asked, rightfully, like what happened immediately after he took the SD card out of the camera.
Here is what Terrell did thereafter, seen for the first time.
There he is.
Terrell
right there
is there.
This is after he took the SD card.
He looks around again, nervously. And he puts the SD card in his pocket and he zips up. He doesn't run to the other cameras and try to grab the SD card. Instead, what he does is he whips out his phone and he begins texting with someone.
Holy shit,
and that's what he does.
Dude, I want to see those texts, bro. Guys, listen to me. My gut tells me that TPUSA knew. TPUSA, like Erica, her behavior has never made sense.
And luckily, Candace joins us today to walk us through it all. Candace, welcome.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Dude, oh my God. Dude, it's the collab we've all been waiting for. Candace Owens, Ana Kasparian.
This video footage is very suspicious and we need answers, and it does cast some doubt on the official narrative surrounding Tyler Robinson and how this assassination allegedly took place. So, you have mentioned on your show repeatedly that less than 4 minutes after Charlie Kirk was shot, Terrell Farnsworth, who runs audio and visual for Turning Point USA, was seen taking down one of the cameras that was like on the set where Charlie was, right? So there's 3 cameras in total, but the one camera behind him, which would capture the back of Charlie's head and the audience viewing him, that's the camera less than 4 minutes after Charlie Kirk was shot. That's the camera that Terrell Farnsworth goes to immediately, takes it down, and then there's video of that moment along with some of the context of what you had to say about the video. So I want to just show the audience that, and then we'll go to the new footage that you presented yesterday. Everyone take a look.
So when the footage began going viral, the clip of Terrell taking down that camera in particular, people online, I think, rightfully speculated that there must have been something really important about that back footage behind Charlie's head specifically. And then people were gaslit. We were told, no, there was nothing unique about that camera. There was nothing unique about that footage in particular. Terrell actually grabbed all of the footage, and he did so because people were stealing and people are evil, which we then said our common sense went, that doesn't really make sense, because if he was worried about people stealing, wouldn't he be concerned with the camera? It was just the SD card that he took out. Contrary to what 𝗪𝗀𝗀 is saying, there was something special about that footage behind Charlie's head, and Terrell beelined to it in particular. And he was nervous about that footage in particular because he did not instantly grab all of the SD cards. He grabbed that one and he did it nervously. Here he is. Here he is.
Dude, this was pretty crazy, dude. You know what I'm saying? It's a fucking murder scene, bro.
He's taking down the camera altogether. If you're worried about theft, take the whole camera. It's pretty small. It's in your hand. He doesn't do that. He takes it apart and he takes the SD card out. And he looks around. He wants to see who's looking at him.
Dude, it's crazy. I had a friend in AA who was like a very high up in the police department, okay? This is insane. A murder scene that got filmed by a camera, and then somebody just takes the camera, moves it, pops out the card, does this all before the cops even secure the location. I mean, nobody's even securing this shit. Like, bro, this is nuts, dude. This is absolutely insane. And the fact that this guy is filmed doing this guy literally, you would think, would be immediately arrested for obstruction of justice and required to produce that camera and that footage. I mean, why was the FBI not flipping out over this? This is unheard of, man, because that camera literally showed the murder. It showed what happened after when he fell. It showed the crowd. If there was somebody connected to the killing in the crowd, that would be evidentiary value of that. Like, bro, this is the craziest fucking thing I have ever seen. I mean, brazen.
And then he looks down at it and he walks around. And we had wondered, what did Terrell do when he walked around? He hasn't addressed any other camera there, just that one.
Weird.
So it's definitely strange that he didn't address any other camera except for the one directly behind Charlie Kirk.
And in fact, he left the camera sitting wherever he pulled the card. Dude, he literally just took the card, left the camera sitting out there, you know, so obviously he wasn't too concerned about the camera. He's just like, I'm gonna get the card, gonna get the evidence out of here.
And you actually reached out to him. You knew who he was because of your time with Turning Point USA. You spoke to him on September 18th to ask about it. What did he tell you?
It was the first thing that made me uncomfortable in this case. He basically was saying a bunch of excuses that didn't make any sense. The first thing he said was, he wanted to secure the footage because he didn't want Erica to see Charlie die in 4K. And I said, Terrell, we all just watched Charlie die. Like, they're not saving her from that inevitability because, that's the whole thing. It was a live stream. We all watched this already. It's all over the internet and it's from the front. Why would you grab the back footage if that was your concern? And then he told me that I said, could you just send it to me because I'm not gonna show the footage. I just want to see it so I can then defend you on my platform, which was my intention to say, hey guys, like, this is the reason he did this. Maybe a police officer told him to grab all the footage. I hadn't put the pieces together yet. And he told me, well, I don't know how to send a file that big. And I said, Terrell, you run an audio-visual company. You know how to send big files. Like, you can use WeTransfer, you could use Google.
Dude,
and then
you get a fucking Dropbox, bro. Homie is faking it, bro. Jesus, it's funny.
Said he was worried that Google was going to hack him. I mean, these are just totally, frankly, bizarre excuses for not showing me the footage. I would have happily gone to him. I would have jumped on a Zoom call. And I was like, hey, you're acting really strange. I told him that. I said, this is all very weird. Like, what would Google hack you for the purpose of then showing the footage that we've all seen? Like, we're all gonna see Charlie die again? Like, what kind of a conspiracy is this? And so you fast forward to this preliminary hearing and the testimony of the State Bureau of Investigations. And I find out that actually 8 days prior to him speaking to me, actually on the day that Charlie was assassinated, he sent them Google links. So clearly he wasn't fearful about Google. Clearly he knew how to share a link, as I know he did. So the natural question that I have is, why did he lie to me? Why did he lie to me?
Already, like, most people have just forgotten about Charlie Kirk, right? They have. His impact on the world has just completely disappeared. And TPUSA's promise to, like, oh, we're gonna get even bigger now that this happened, none of that has come true. They had to rebrand, they had to change their name, they had to, like, change their strategy. They've gotten nothing but bad press. Candace has made her hunt for the truth is become more of a story than what happened to Charlie, right? Candace's behavior is garnered more interest than the actual event did. And that's insane. That is insane that something that high profile could happen. And yet, like, Candace's grift has completely overshadowed it. Right? I mean, bro, like 2 years from now, nobody's ever even gonna know who this guy is anymore. It's gonna be as though he never existed.
Well, not only that, and this is really important. So he took the SD card out of the camera. You just mentioned that he provided investigators with Google links of the footage. Did he provide them?
As well as a flash drive, which is what was testified to, which means what happened to the SD cards, right? So the SD cards, if you're saying that you wanted to assist the officers, you just give them the SD cards. They know how to figure out an SD card. You don't have to do anything to help them figure out how to do an SD card. And so if that excuse of I just wanted to secure all the footage was correct, that's what you would have done. But clearly his focus was that back footage because he even steps over another camera, which would have had a good view of people in the audience. If you thought, hey, maybe someone shot him that was in the audience or 𝗻𝗄𝗽𝐺 Center, I would have grabbed that camera that was behind him facing the audience and the questioners.
See, that's another thing to think about, guys, right? Is at the time that this happened, okay, think about this. At the time that guy, 𝗪l Farnsworth, went up to that camera and pulled the SD card on the one camera that was up top looking down, they didn't know where the shooter shot from. They didn't know if the bullet was fired from somebody in the front row of this thing, right? Ostensibly, they were just there. Charlie Kirk died. They watched him die, but they had no idea that it came from a roof all the way on the other side, theoretically or allegedly. They had no idea if somebody right in the front row had fired that thing. And so all the cameras looking at the audience there, he didn't grab any of them. But he's like, oh, I'm just gonna get the one that was overlooking, the immediate area around Charlie, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes me wonder, guys. It makes me wonder if they contributed to this thing. Right? Like, were they letting him bleed out before they moved him? Were they, after everyone surrounded him and this happened, did they just hold him there for a minute and pick his pockets? Did they take something off his body? Did they, right? You know what I mean? Who knows what went on in that little scrum before they moved him? Did somebody put a knee on the neck to make sure it finished the job? I mean, I don't know. Weird stuff, guys.
He steps over that camera and abandons an opportunity to grab that SD card at the same time. And he, nervously looks around, grabs that back one, and then walks around to the back of the tent, as you just showed.
And, I don't want it to be lost on our audience, so I want to reiterate. He never provided, and this is based on the testimony that you can hear for yourselves during the preliminary hearing. He never provided the SD card, the original, SD card to the investigation. He just provided the Google links and a flash drive.
Yeah, that also is crazy. That's crazy, guys. Think about that. He took the original evidence of the SD card out of the camera. Then he provided the police with a flash drive and a Google link to what was on the SD, but not the actual SD. Dude, that's insane. Again, unfucking heard of. There is no way a police investigation would ever have let that be. Right? They would have wanted the original SD card. They would have done digital forensics on it to make sure that nothing was deleted, nothing was cut or edited in camera. They would have made sure all the files were in sequence. They would have watched every file on that camera from beginning to end to see if there were any suspicious persons on it. You know what I mean? They would have done that with every SD card and every camera up there. Every one of them, guys. And here, 𝗙cie𝗶𝗹𝗆's FBI and these, investigators with this high profile, what they called a political assassination, They let some flunky from TPUSA say, hey, here's a flash drive with some files on it and a link to my Google Drive. Yeah, there you go, FBI. Have at it, right? No way, dude. No fucking way, dude. I am certain they're in on it now, 100%.
Which would indicate that there's a possibility of evidence tampering, no?
Yeah,
I'm not saying that
you
he
think?
did do that, but that there's a possibility for that.
There's certainly a possibility, and what's also interesting to me is like the SBI, they control the case, right? So that's the State Bureau of Investigations. The lead investigators on the case are the SBI. They were on the ground that day. I believe he testified. It was about 1:30 by the time they started saying, okay, this is your job, your job, your job. Your job is to secure the surveillance. Why are you not giving them the SD cards?
Dude, they gave it to Mitch McConnell is who they gave it to. And it's currently in Mitch's colon.
Anybody who is looking at this case should be rationally asking, because Terrell had an opportunity to edit that footage. He did. He just did. And the story that we were told by Andrew 𝗙𝗪𝗏 was that he just wanted to secure the footage for the purposes of making sure that nobody stole anything because people are evil. But actually, I don't think his priority was making sure that things weren't stolen, because he left those other cameras. He left that other SD card as the one that he stepped over and addressed his computer.
Right.
Like, that's not the first thing. And I want to be clear, this is all happening within 10 minutes of Charlie getting hit. Terrell runs up to a ledge,
that's crazy.
records a selfie video of himself. As Charlie's being carried to the car, he says, Charlie's dead, which is a stunning thing to say. A stunning thing. Nobody knew that Charlie was dead. Charlie wasn't going to make it. He explains it away. I was close to him. I saw how bad it was. I just assumed he was dead or whatever. Okay, I'll accept that. Your next step is not to call 911, but to jump down and secure the camera behind his head. Are we allowed to acknowledge that that's strange?
I mean, I'm acknowledging it. I do think that's strange. And what's even more strange is—
yeah, it's weird to make the video. I mean, I'll be honest, guys. I knew he was dead. Okay, I did. I saw people tweeting like, oh, I think he's going to pull through. It's like, no, once you saw that, like, the homie was not pulling through. I knew he was not pulling through. But for the guy to make a selfie video, it was real weird too. He went up like underneath, there was kind of like an overpass. It was like a concrete walkway that was behind the tent, and he went like through the walkway to the other side of it and went up on this embankment and was filming himself up there. It was very strange.
The exclusive footage that you presented on your show just yesterday. So you asked, rightfully, like, what happened immediately after he took the SD card out of the camera? And you managed to find footage of what he did immediately after. So that's what we're gonna take a look at next. Everyone take a look at this video.
Here is what Terrell did thereafter, seen for the first time.
There he is.
Terrell
right there
is there.
This is after he took the SD card.
He looks around again, nervously. And he puts the SD card in his pocket and he zips up. He doesn't run to the other cameras and try to grab the SD card. Instead, what he does is he whips out his phone and he begins texting with someone.
Holy shit,
and that's what he does.
I've never seen
texting
that.
with someone to say what?
So, dude, I want to see those texts, bro. Guys, listen to me. My gut tells me that TPUSA knew. TPUSA, like, Erica, her behavior has never made sense. Okay? It is never made sense. And they like had it a different direction for TPUSA, like out of the gate. It was like the minute Charlie was gone, they just continued on this brand new track that didn't feel like brand new. It felt like it was track that had already been laid, right? That's what was so weird about it. It was like they had the after Charlie's death plan for TPUSA already like humming, like the engine was running. And the minute he was dead, they just opened the garage door and drove out the new fucking model. And it always felt weird. And it always felt like she was grandstanding with the orange hands and the Instagram video. I love you. I love you. I love you. Then she's like, you don't know what you've unleashed. And then she's like dancing. And then she's like, doing pyrotechnics and, selling hats to a stadium. It was all just so weird. They had the tent out there. Yeah, come take a selfie where Charlie died. Dude. And then it was like they were holding pictures of him making content and shit. But meanwhile, everyone in the replies, all their former fans are like, dude, what the fuck is going on? Why are you guys so different? Why is this not like Charlie? I mean, there's no way around this, guys. I just know that TPUSA was involved. I know it. Andrew Colvett, Tyler Boyer, Erica Kirk. I would not be surprised if it had something to do with Israel. I would not be surprised if Donald Trump knew about it and wasn't carrying anything out, but he just knew it was going to happen and they knew that they were going to use it politically. But I guarantee you that this was a desired result for whatever, a directional change in TPUSA now that Donald Trump got elected and it was time for like phase 2. Okay? Just absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind. I mean, Erica, she feels like a serial killer, guys. She does. She feels like a fucking serial killer. You can't convince me otherwise. I've said from the beginning that she was like Jodi Arias. If you guys remember, Jodi Arias was this woman who murdered the guy she was dating and was like all crazy calculated. But like, dude, I swear. Yo, political punk here. I know, it's killing me. Seriously, guys, if you like what we do around here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and turn those noties on. And I wouldn't be anywhere without the members. So if you want to hit the join button, we really appreciate that too. Thank you so much, guys. It's getting crazy out there, and I'm just really glad to not be going through this alone. All right? All right, keep your chin up. Let's go, boss. All right, fuck you. Bye-bye.